Hi, Sue here from Mystic Matters. Thank you very much for joining me on my very first video of my new series, Exploring Popular Opinion. And I'm starting off with genetically modified organisms, which is GMOs. There's a lot of controversy about GMOs. One side of the argument is they will feed the world. Another side of the argument is they will poison people. And I'm not interested in any of the people involved on either side of the argument. This is not what it's about. I want to look at the energy behind GMOs. And I don't know what the cards are going to say. My opinion doesn't come into this. So I'm going to do a Celtic cross and see what the cards will tell me about the energy behind GMOs. What is the purpose? Why were they created? What's the history of them? Let's see what the cards will come up with. As I said, I'm going to do a Celtic cross, which is 10 cards. Let's see what I'm shown. Okay, well, starting off here, that the idea came from people just not listening to other people's opinions, and they were sitting quietly, listening to their own voices, and it was very much a solitary thing. It's like maybe scientists got together and looked at this idea and just put themselves into a room and shut out other people's opinions and things like that, and just started to think about this on their own, not necessarily for any nefarious purposes, but it was from a place of solitude, from a place of being cut off. Because this card is really about listening to our inner voice and not listening to and not necessarily taking on board what other people are telling us. So it's a bit rarefied, from a rarefied point of view. What challenges it is that this is a life-changing thing. It means it's the end of an era, because once the GMOs or the seeds are planted, it changes everything. And the people that had the idea about it, what they've fundamentally done is they've made massive changes to the structure of crops and things like that. And they get that once these crops have started to be planted, once these seeds have started to be planted, it is kind of like judgment. It's the end of an era. It's like we will now get the rewards for the efforts we've made, whether it be for good or bad. So it can't be undone, put it that way. But now we have to move forward from it, because there have been major changes by planting these particular organisms. The energy around at the moment is that, do we stay with what we have or put our energies into something else? So I think there's quite a lot of discussion going on. Was this really a good idea? Is this something that we need to do something about? Should we maybe stop working in this way? Is it better to move on from this? So I think I know there's a lot of argument, there's a lot of opinion, there's a lot of discussion about this. And this is really what's happening at the moment. there's two sides to this argument. Do we stay with what we have, or do we put our energies into something else? Do we try and rectify any damage maybe that's been done by GMOs, or do we just continue on because we know it's a good thing and humanity as a whole will benefit from it? So there's a lot of toing and froing at the moment, whether we should stick with them or not. The motivation is basically the world. Is the world better for them, or is it not? I know there's an idea that the GMO seeds will create more food for people on Earth, and there's the other side of the argument saying actually it creates less and it makes people sick. So the motivation is for the planet, for the benefit of the planet, and this is why there's so much contention about it. People are really kind of concerned because it is the end of an era, and we will reap the rewards for the efforts we've made here. Same with the judgment card. It's like we've been to school, we've learned our lessons, and now we want to move on. So we're learning something about the ongoing effects of these GMOs that we didn't realize. It's like anything, isn't it? You don't know it until you're living with it, and then there's repercussions, things happen, and now we're looking at the health of the planet and of the foods and of the food supplies, the people on the planet. So this is a worldwide concern regarding GMOs. In the recent past, I think it started off with good intentions. I don't think they were created for any particular bad reason, because the Queen of Swords is about only wanting the best and not accepting second best. So I do think that there were good intentions behind this, but now what's happened is that things have kind of turned up that maybe weren't expected, weren't anticipated, and now people are looking at, well, do we need to put a stop to this? Do we need to move on? We have to think about the health of the planet. But I do think that it started off with good intentions, and I'm being told yes. My pendulum said, this is a yes, and give me a no, and that's a no. And if I ask for a maybe, I get it backwards and forwards. So I'm told that the intentions were good, but there were repercussions that weren't expected. And now there is an issue which has been changed, has made an impact on the world as a whole. And I think this is what people are looking at. In the near future, we have here our hearts being very open, wanting to go on a journey of love. And so I think that there is more. I think we've got to the point that not everybody wants to get rid of them because there's money involved. But I think that there's a general understanding, there's become more of an understanding that these are in places hazardous to human health, and we're coming now into an era where there's many more people looking at the health of the planet's benefit of the planet, of Mother Earth, and we want to treat her with love and respect and compassion. And so this is where we're at the moment. There's quite a lot of toing and froing. This is about gathering money and resources, keeping our home fires burning. This is about the material and physical health of people. And this is where there's a lot of people looking into the physical health of the people regarding GMOs, the people that are laboring in the fields, the people that are eating GMO foods and things. There's a lot of concern and people just wanting their homes, their bodies, their finances to be safe, to be healthy. So this is about making people healthier, so they're looking after themselves. And I know there's been kind of a lot of labeling. Okay, I'm going to ask a question: are GMOs good for people's health? And I'm getting a no on that. And as you see, it's like a helicopter, a very definite no. They're not good for people's health. They're not good for the people. Are they good for the people growing them? No. And I'm getting there's no benefit to them. And remember, this is an entertainment channel. Before I get any GMO people onto me, but this is what I'm being shown. This is about what people are seeing, and the emperor is powerful. People being very decisive, being very determined that this is the road they're going to go, and there's no other way. And this goes on both sides of the argument: the people who are benefiting and producing GMO products, and the people that are against GMO products. Both of them are kind of marching on, walking their talk, making a lot of noise, and this is where so much of the division is coming from. So both sides are making their voices heard very, very clearly. I doubt there's anybody or many people that have never heard of GMOs, for instance. So both sides of the argument are being very forthright. But what we're hoping for is something new, a new project, something new, something that is better, where we can invest money and resources into something that is healthier, something that is better for people. So this is where what we're looking at. Is there another way of feeding the planet? Are there other things that we can do which are maybe safer for people and more where people can be healthy? They're not at risk of losing their health through the food they eat. So we're looking at something which is a bit more conducive. So there are other options that are being looked at to feed people. The end result is that there's still going to be disagreement. Both sides are not looking, they're not listening to the other. There's too much money invested with the companies that are producing GMO foods, and there's a massive movement of people that are against GMOs, and neither side seem to be listening to the other. So I do think that this particular subject regarding the popular opinion, I think it has a way to go. I don't think anybody yet is ready to give ground. It's chipping away at the subject, and I think that alternatives for human health are still being looked at, being sought, and other options are being looked at. but it will take a while, maybe a very long time, before GMOs will become a thing of the past, because they're in our soil, and so it's going to. I'm not a farmer, but it's going to take a while and a concerted effort to kind of wipe them out completely. But we're not nearly at that place yet. There's still too many arguments going on, and there could be another 5 years before a particular decision is made, or things have started to be agreed and phased out, to do with the. So fortunately, it's a lot down to the money, where a lot of these things come from. But I really don't believe they were created from bad intentions. But I do think they took a path that people weren't expecting. It's like anything, you don't know how they're going to react on the general human body until they're released. So that is what my cards are saying about the GMOs. So I hope you found that enlightening or interesting, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.